Welcome, everybody, to another episode of NFL East Podcast. Make sure to follow the podcast on Podbeam, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartMusic, or wherever you get your podcast. Join our NFL East Facebook group. That's NFL Boy Brandon. You can follow him on YouTube. I'm Mr. McDolphin. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Mr. McDolphin73. And make sure to follow the show on Twitter at East NFL. What's up, Brandon?
What's up?
How's it going? How's it going?
Good.
Good, man. Have you enjoyed these first couple weeks of this football season 2023?
I have outside of New England. So
Okay. Yeah, and we will be getting to that here in a few, because what we're going to do, I had a few people message me and be like, dude, where are you at? Where are y'all at? Talking about the podcast, of course. And so we've had a lot of stuff going on and some scheduling issues, but we're able to do this midweek. As everybody can see, Rich is not here with us. So me and Brandon are going to be doing it ourselves. And
we are going to start doing this weekly every Wednesday.
We're
like
supposed to be doing it every
7:15.
Saturday, and then me and you will do some kind of midweek thing. Right before the new week kicks off. So but with people asking where we're at, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. And I figured we could take a look at all 8 teams. You do 4, I'll do 4. We'll just kind of go back and forth and give your opinion on where you think that team is at.
Okay.
And we'll take weeks 1, week 2 into consideration, where you think they're at now. So how's that sound? Pretty good?
Sounds good. Yep.
All right, cool. That's what we'll do. And then at the end of the show, of course, we'll be giving just a quick preview and our predictions of tomorrow night's game for Thursday Night Football. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, let's kick it off, I guess. What do you think? Let's start with America's team. How about that? Does that sound good?
Good. Yep.
All right, cool. America's team. They
Dad,
are.
hold on. Should we do? Are we doing news from the East in any segment?
No, not in any segment. So if you got news on the team, go ahead and just talk about it when we're talking about that team.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's cool. We'll just do it like that. So the Cowboys, what we'll do, we're going to go in order. What we'll do is we'll go with the best records down, 2-0, and then we'll go to the 1-1s and then the 0-2s. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Start with the Cowboys.
I said Dallas Super Bowl bound. I don't know about that.
The Dallas Cowboys are 2-0. And where I think they're at, I think the Dallas Cowboys, well, they're on this road, and on this road, there's many stops along this road. So I don't think they're a one final destination. And this has been a really good team through 2 weeks. I think they're on the road to having the Defensive Player of the Year. I think Micah Parsons is a beast, and as fresh out the gate, he has to be the front runner by far for Defensive Player of the Year. He keeps playing like that. This road will take them to that conclusion, I guarantee you. But the thing about the Dallas Cowboys is the expectations are so high for the Dallas Cowboys. And if they get knocked out in the divisional round again, Mike McCarthy might lose his job. You know what? I mean, it's that crazy. They're probably the only team in the NFL that can go to the second round of the playoffs and then fire their coach, because they have a crazy enough owner / GM to do that. And they got Dan Quinn in the waiting. You know what I'm saying? So,
my thing is that, and the one thing I want to say real quick, I feel like the big topic about Dallas has to be Mike McCarthy, because you fired Kellen Moore in the offseason, and you didn't know how Mike McCarthy was going to look going in. And so far, these 2 weeks, he has looked great at calling offensive plays.
Exactly. And that's why
it's high powered.
Right. So. And that's why the second stop along this road that the Dallas Cowboys are on is job security. That's the stop his job security, because Mike McCarthy is proving right now within the first couple of weeks that he still got it as a play caller. He knows what he's doing. The play idea strategy looks really good. McCarthy is electric. You know what I'm saying? The plays that he's calling. And I mean, of course, through the first couple of weeks, they haven't had to ask a lot of the offense. So that's a good thing, I guess. Because your defense has played so well and scored so many points. But I could easily see them. I think they're the strongest team with San Francisco in the NFC. They're like 1A and 1B. They both they're I think they're the best two defenses in the NFL. And the offense, like you said, looks really good. The play calling has gone well. What I will like is when it gets into a little bit more. The Jets game was a really good game. Of course, we know they pulled it out 30-10, but that was a really good game because they were up against a really good defense. And I think one of the things for the Dallas Cowboys, as games get closer and it gets harder, is how Mike McCarthy juggles the head coach role, with managing the clock, those kind of things, which those are things we bashed on him over the last couple of years. So can he do that and do the play calling and everything, and how he juggles all that? That'll be something to look forward to.
Well, I think we're going to figure out that question, Dad, come week 5, because I don't know if you know this yet or not, but Sunday night on week 5 is about to be lit. It's the Cowboys versus the 49ers.
Yeah, that'll be really good. The 49ers have the Cowboys number, but, it should be a really good game.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, he has played really good week 2. They didn't ask a lot of him. He didn't need to do a lot week 1, but week 2, so far this season, in the first couple of weeks, he has 398 yards, 2 touchdowns, and here's the big one, 0 picks, which is really good. And so what Cowboys fans need Dak to do is to keep almost throwing interceptions, not throwing them, but almost throwing them. And what I mean by that is Sauce Gardner should have caught that ball. He threw it right at Sauce Gardner. That should have been a pick 6, really easy. But luckily, I mean, it bounced Dak's way, and last year it didn't. Last year we've seen it hit players, bounce off, and become interceptions. They weren't all on him last year, but that's good. I like it. Through 2 weeks, he has 0 interceptions. One with the one with the Jets, and Sauce Gardner should have been a pick 6. But Sauce, I don't know if you've seen it. Sauce came out today in the press conference and said that he was more worried about scoring than he was catching the ball. Your guy took his eyes off the ball and looked upfield a little bit and dropped the ball. So it kind of makes sense. But I think the Dallas Cowboys they're on a good road. I think Mike McCarthy is proving that he deserves to be their head coach. I think their defense is playing like their hair's on fire and being led by a guy that's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And I think Dak has looked really good. You know what I'm saying? I think he's become a lot more of a pocket passer since his injuries, and he's doing really good. He's reading the field really well. Even almost interceptions, it's only been a couple. You know what I'm saying? And luckily neither one of them were intercepted. So that's kind of where I think the Cowboys are. I think the Cowboys are a team that people should worry about, and that defense is extremely scary. My favorite team, the Dolphins, have to play them later on this year. Not looking forward to playing that defense at all. So
we unfortunately play them early. I think we play them in like week 4 or something. So I'm looking forward to that. So
right, exactly. So there you go. That's where I think the Cowboys are at. Next up, let's go to the Eagles.
Okay.
They're another 2-0 team. And I think one thing to mention is we have 4 2-0 teams. Like half of our teams in the NFL East are 2-0.
Yeah.
But these are very different 2-0 teams. We have teams that have barely won 2 games,
Yeah.
teams that have dominated, and that's kind of why I wanted to start with the Cowboys because they dominated both games they were in. So let's move on to the Eagles 2-0. What do you think, Brandon? Where do you think the Eagles are at?
Well, I wrote down and I took a couple of notes down over their first 2 games because I don't know if you've been keeping up with the games, Dad, but I called both of the Eagles games so far that they've played in, and the Eagles are obviously good because they're 2-0. So they do have, they do have the record there, but my bigger question is what's going on with Jalen Hurst right now? Because over these 2 games, he does not look like the same Jalen Hurst that we've seen even through 1 game last season. I took a few stats down of his. So over these past 2 games, he's 40 for 56, 363 yards, only 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, which I feel like touchdown to ratio is kind of weirdly odded for Jalen Hurst right now. Like, I feel like last season we would have seen a whole bunch more touchdowns and I mean, 1 interception isn't bad, but to only have 2 touchdowns over 2 games is kind of weird for a quarterback like Jalen Hurst. But the bigger thing that has stood out to me from the Eagles last season in third down and longs, like third down and 13s or third down and 20s, they would always take a shot with Jalen Hurst. For some reason, they've been running the ball more on third down and longs. I don't know if like Jalen Hurst like has some kind of injury lingering that we just don't know about yet, or I don't know. But I mean, what's your opinion on that? Because right now, like Jalen Hurst through 2 games does not look like the same Jalen Hurst from last season. So
Yeah, I think they need to use Jalen Hurts for what he is. It's almost I kind of feel like they've given him the big contract and they're
yeah,
like, okay, now we got to pull you back and protect you more.
yeah,
No, he's a power runner. He's a running quarterback. That's what
yeah,
he is. Let
yeah,
him do his job. Let him use his talents. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
that's the problem was last year they were using all of his abilities. And you're right, I've seen it too in the first couple of weeks. They're trying to rein him in and say, okay, throw the ball more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or try to force it here and or like you said, just running the ball and totally giving up on the plays where last
yeah,
year they would have never done that.
yeah,
It's here's so I agree with you about Jalen Hurts, but my biggest worry about the Eagles, this is going to sound really weird, is their defense. And you're like, why are you worried about that defense? Because all they do is get pass rush. You know what I'm saying? They get a lot of pass rush, they get sacks. I'm worried about those defensive backs. People are throwing on the Eagles. The Pats got the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this is Mac Jones and the Pats were moving the ball. The Vikings were moving the ball. Their cornerbacks, I know they're beat up, and I know their cornerbacks are hurt, and they got some injuries back there. But you can throw the ball on this team. And last year they were shut down defense on all 3 levels. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And they've and they still if you can get rid of the ball quickly, you might have a shot, and that's what Mac did. And that's how they scored, that 20 points. And then the Vikings, of course, scored 28 on them. So I'm worried. The way I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts, but I am worried about the way they've been using Jalen Hurts in the first couple of weeks. And I'm worried
yeah.
about the defensive backs. Their defense does not look as good as it did last year. So,
No.
Which was elite on all 3 levels. So, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles are obviously good because they're 2-0. The
Yeah,
record
they're a
shows
great
it,
team.
but
They're a great team. We're nitpicking there.
like I said, I don't know if their production has slowed down because their schedule got a little bit harder this year, but I mean, I've definitely noticed what you're saying, Dad, that they're reining in Jalen Hurst, and instead of, oh, we're gonna take a shot on third down and long like they would have last year, they're like, nah, we're just gonna run this ball and hopefully get the first down and then just punt it away if we don't get it. And I'm like, okay, this is not the same Eagles team that I'm used to watching from last season.
Right.
So
Yeah, they're definitely not. They're not. They do have a new offensive coordinator, so there you go. That could be the answer to
yeah,
all of this.
I didn't think
Because
about
there is
that.
a
Yeah,
new offensive coordinator and there is a new defensive coordinator.
yeah,
So definitely on offense, the way they're using Jalen Hurts does not resemble Jalen Hurts of last year, and
yeah,
last year Jalen Hurts dominated.
yeah,
And I would worry and keep an eye on the defensive backs. But like you said, the
yeah,
Eagles are good. The Eagles, really good teams, finish. They figure out how to finish games.
yeah,
That's what they do, and
yeah,
they're 2-0 because in a very tight game with New England, they figured out how to come out on top. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And
yeah,
they did what they needed to do, and the same with the in week 2 in the Vikings. So. Yeah, so this Eagles team, I think, is pretty tough. I think the
yeah,
defense needs to, look at the depth and rotation in their cornerback position, and Jalen Hurts needs to be used a little bit different. You just need to unleash him, let him do his job. He's a
yeah,
power running quarterback. That's what he is, and let him do his job. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And he probably will because he gets hurt. That's what he does. That's because he's a runner. But that's when you are playing your best. So
yeah.
there you go. All right, next up, 2-0, the 2-0 Miami Dolphins. I'll take this one. Okay, so where are the Miami Dolphins at? I'll tell you where the Miami Dolphins are at. They're on everybody's mind. That's where they're at. They're located on everybody's mind right now. Everybody is talking about the Miami Dolphins. You can't turn on your TV, listen to a podcast. You can't, social media, everybody is talking about the Miami Dolphins. And so that's where they're at. And I was taking a look at the 2 weeks and I was like, why are people so intrigued? You can't be surprised from Tua's play. Tua played like this last year. You know what I'm saying? Until he got hurt. So
Yeah.
we know if Tua's healthy, he knows how to play football. He's MVP caliber football. We know that. But week 1, here's the difference, and here's the reason why I think everybody's talking about him, and why I think people are starting to fear the Miami Dolphins. And that was because in week 1, it was the Tua and Tyreek show. We know that. You
Yeah.
remember week 1, put up tons of yards. Tyreek got tons of yards. Tua got tons of yards. And then they turned around and played your Patriots. And Bill Belichick figured out how to kind of shut down Tyreek, right?
Yeah.
So the Dolphins said, okay, they adjusted and they won the game by defense, really good defense, stopping the run defense
Well, don't
and
forget
running the
about your
ball.
running back.
And
Yeah, I was
no,
about to
that's what I was
say.
going to say. Running the ball, defense and running
Yeah.
the ball. So now in 2 weeks, the Miami Dolphins has won high flying circus event Tyreek Hill, then
Yeah.
turned around. That got turned off. So said, okay, we'll run the ball and play really good defense. We know how
Yeah.
to win no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And that's really
Well, I
good
mean,
play
my
calling
thing my
by
thing
Coach
about this
McDaniel.
is that my thing about this is real quick is it's not shocking to me that Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in this game didn't do much because we all know that Bill Belichick likes to shut down your options. And that's exactly what he did by shutting down Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Well, Jalen
But
Waddle had 86
we're
yards, so he almost got 100
okay. Well,
yards.
then he
But he
didn't
also got
necessarily
hurt.
get shut down, but you know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah, they
didn't
shut
have
Tyreek
a
down,
normal
and that
game
was the
that
goal.
you're expecting out of Jalen Waddle, you know?
Right.
So, but what I'm saying is like, so those two was taken out of the equation, but then it's like nobody of New England shifted over from Juwan Bentley to uh to Matthew Judon to say, oh well, here's Raheem Mustard, and we're just gonna let him have himself a game. The dude ended up with almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Right.
Shit was
And
ridiculous.
right. And the next point, and the reason why I think people are talking about him, comes at a bit of surprise for me. But
Mm-hmm.
through the first 2 weeks, the offensive line, Miami Dolphins offensive line, has played really well. It's crazy. And I don't know if you realized this, but outside of quarterback, right? Outside of quarterback in football, outside of quarterback, your most important positions and where teams spend all of their money is left tackle, edge, and cornerback, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
because your left tackle has to be able to protect your biggest asset, which is your quarterback. The edge
Yeah.
rusher, you need to be able to get to the opposing quarterback, and cornerbacks because you can't let wide receivers run all over the place. Well,
Yeah.
in week two, we played with the Miami Dolphins played with a backup left tackle, a backup edge rusher, and of course a backup cornerback, which they've been playing with both weeks, and left tackle also. This offensive line has a backup left tackle and has played really well through 2 weeks. Teron Armstead, just need to get him completely healthy. This offensive line is only going to get better. And like what you said, New England dropped so much in coverage to kind of protect that field and protect the throwing lanes. And so the the Miami Dolphins offensive line was able to dominate and create big holes for Mostert. So that's pretty cool. Tua leads the league with 715 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Thank you.
102 passer rating. The 2 interceptions I don't like. That's, even though that's half of the amount of touchdowns, but other than that, I think.
Wait, how many touchdowns does he have?
He has 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Okay.
715 yards. Tyreek Hill leads the league as wide receivers with 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, 16 receptions. That's an average of almost 16 yards per play. That's amazing.
Okay, listen to that, okay?
And then Raheem Mostert, 28 carries, 158 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Pretty good.
Yeah, and over half that 158 yards came from us on Sunday night. Ridiculous. Right. But anyways, the one thing that I did want to mention, Tyreek Hill might lead the league in receiving yards here at 200 and some yards, but that shit did not come at our hands. That all lays at the Chargers' doorstep when they let him have a over 100-yard game.
Right. And the reason why when I said, when I asked the question, where are the Miami Dolphins? And I said the Miami Dolphins are on everybody's mind. I'm talking about all of the opponents that are coming up. Yeah. Because the Miami Dolphins are proven through the first couple of weeks that in 2023, you're just going to have to pick your poison. What are you going to do? Because Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle are going to kill you. And if you drop everybody back, we're gonna run the ball down your throat and control the game. So you got to pick your poison. You're gonna die either way. You just pick how you want to die, I guess.
Yeah.
So, all right, cool. The Washington Commanders, the 2-0 Washington Commanders. I don't know where they're at. You're getting ready to tell us where they're at. Yeah. I'll tell you where they're gonna be if they keep playing like this. Is in 2 weeks they're going to be coming up our power rankings because they're on the dead bottom and they're 2-0, dude.
Dead ass.
Commanders, where are they at?
So I took down some notes, and the first thing that I had to say was, "Wow, has the Washington Commanders surprised all of us?" I wrote in my notes, Dad, and I said, and this is the thing I want to know from you and everybody else watching: could this be a new Washington Commander era of football that we have been seeing, that we're getting to see here? They have new ownership. They look like a brand new whole football team. They're 2-0, 2-0 for the first time in who knows how long. And I mean, honestly, they've looked great in both games. Brian Robertson is having himself a season already. He has 37 carries on 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sam Howell's also looked great. He's 46 for 70. I don't really like the attempts for completion ratio there, but he has 501 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. But again, they are 2-0 for right now, Dad. But my next thing that I wrote down is they are getting ready to take on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. So we will see where they truly stand come this week.
Yeah.
But this might be a new era in Commander football that we see. This is something that we have not seen in Washington in a really long time.
Right.
So.
I totally agree. And the biggest question mark in the NFL East coming into the year, and we talked about this, in podcasts leading up to the beginning of the year, was Sam Howell. Sam Howell was the big question mark because we don't know. We didn't have enough. We've only seen him start one game, and that was the last game last season. And so we didn't know. I'm really surprised and happy with Sam Howell. Sam Howell is he has played really well. Now, what I don't understand is why nobody told these Cardinals that they were tanking this year. That's what I don't understand.
Honestly.
I mean, they're 0-2, but they have fought for 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, honestly, yes, they really have. So
that was a great game in week 1 against the Commanders, and it was awesome to see the Commanders be able to pull that out. And then the Broncos, I mean, what I really love this Washington Commanders defense. They're my favorite part of the team. Sam Howell's awesome.
Yeah.
You need a guy that won't turn the ball over. He only has 1 interception. He needs to keep that under control, not turn the ball over, because this defense, when they start clicking, they're good enough to carry you to win some games. This defense is really good. This defense, I believe, can be top 5. But the problem is the defense hasn't showed up in the first couple of weeks until halftime, both games. The defense played extremely crappy the first half and then dominated the second half in both weeks. If that just happened 1 week, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe they were tired or something, and they no, both weeks. This cannot be a trend. You know what I'm saying? So we need to keep an eye on that. If this defense can play like they have in the second half of these games, and they play like that for the whole game, I think they got a chance against the Buffalo Bills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But their defense is going to have to show up, because if your defense doesn't show up in the first half, Josh Allen's going to have a 40 by halftime.
Well, my thing is that I wanted to mention to you real quick. I definitely agree with you about what you're saying about the defense. I wrote that down in my notes, but I forgot to mention it. So thank you for bringing that up. But no, my thing is if this defense has looked the way that they have after halftime in both of those games, then I think Washington has a chance at winning. But the thing that I wanted to bring up to you, Dad, and get your interest on it, the fucking dude that showed up after halftime on the Washington Commanders defense, the dude that stuck out to me versus the Broncos was Chase Young. And he had pressure after pressure after pressure on Russell Wilson. He also sacked him twice. Well, 1.5 times, because that second time him and Sweat combined it on the tackle. But my point is like, this dude was wrecking shit after halftime in the Broncos game. But yeah, we're still hearing trade rumors or releasing of him after this season. So what the hell is going on there? Like, are you really going to let a dude go after having an amazing, I mean, when healthy, he has proven what he can do.
And that's kind of what it is when healthy. He did not play week 1. He didn't play week 1. And I thought at the end of week 1, I was like, okay, well, that maybe that's why the defense didn't show up. They didn't have Chase Young, and it took a little bit of time. But then they turned around and did the same thing in week 2. But the second half of the game, like you said, Chase Young went off. I think if Chase Young has a good year, Washington's going to figure out how to keep him. You know what I'm saying? Washington will figure out how to keep him. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited for the Commanders. And
sorry, Dad, I was laughing about what Uncle Gus wrote in the damn chat. That's funny.
Yeah, I put it up on the screen. It said even the Cherokee Nation wants him to go back to the damn Redskins. They said, fuck your PC. That's pretty great. Pretty great stuff. So there you go. I'm proud of the Commanders. Pretty good start to the year. Yep. But like you said, their opponents are getting ready to go from not so good teams to pretty damn good teams. So let's see if they can and see if they can keep it up. They might. Hopefully, they don't end up 2-2.
Yeah,
at
it's
the
a
end of the
good
month.
start, but we'll see how they really truly are as we go further on when they kick things off this week with Bills, and then I'm pretty sure they play some other hard teams throughout the season and shit. So
Yeah, their schedule does get a little bit harder here in just a few weeks. So starting this week. All right, let's move on to our 1-1 teams. Those were our 2-0 teams. 1-1 teams. I'll start with the Giants. The Giants are 1-1. They lost to the Cowboys and beat the Cardinals, the same Cardinals that the Commanders beat in week 1. So where are these Giants at? This is I couldn't figure it out. Okay, my thing is this. Here's a crazy stat. The New York Football Giants have been outscored by their opponents in the first 6 quarters of this season 60-0. They didn't score any points in week 1. They didn't score any points in the first half of week 2. In the first 6 weeks, they were outscored 60-0. Man, I'll tell you where I think these Giants are at, and then I'll explain to you why. I think these Giants are on the road to 7-10. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Let me. And this is hard for me to say because I love the Giants. Eli Manning, beat Tom Brady twice in the Super Bowl. I love the Giants.
I knew there was a reason why you loved them.
Yeah, and I got to root for a team out of New York, and I hate the other two, so I might as well just that's another reason. But I think they're on the road to 7-10, and here's why I think. Because I figured it out after the game this past week 2, when they beat the Cardinals. They figured out a way to win that game. And I was like, that's who they are. And I started thinking about last year's playoffs. And they went to the playoffs. They went to the Vikings. They played the Vikings, who is a good team. You know what I'm saying? They're an okay team. And they beat them. And then they turned around the next week and got stomped by the Eagles. And when this team plays crappy to okay teams, they figure out a way to win. But if they're playing a good team or an elite team, they're going to get their asses whooped. And that's just what it is. The defense doesn't show up for some reason against these better offenses. And so what I did, I was like, well, shit, if that's the case, and if I got something going here, then I can just look at the Giants' schedule and tell you what their schedule is going to end up. Their schedule is a lot harder than last year.
Yeah.
Whole lot harder than last year. They play a lot of elite teams because where the AFC East is playing the NFC East, they got to play the Miami Dolphins. They got to play the Patriots. They got to play the Bills. They got to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they got to play the fucking 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're going to lose a lot of games. So that's kind of where I think they're at. They're on the road to 7-10.
Okay.
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about this defense. We could talk about Daniel Jones here in a minute, Saquon, and he's injured now. We'll talk about all that in a minute. But I would need to start with this defense and get your opinion on this defense. This defense, guess how many sacks they have so far this year?
I'm going to say none.
0. Guess how many interceptions they have so far this year?
Yeah, that would be a zero burger as well.
0. They This is a good defense. This defense is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I tried to argue that they were as good as the Washington Commanders defense.
My thing is this, Dad. Okay, I'm pretty sure they brought in a new defensive coordinator, didn't they, in the offseason? I think they did.
Okay,
at least. So my thing is the defense. Yeah, it's the same defense, but maybe they're still trying to adapt to this offense. To that defensive coordinator. So maybe that's why they're having an off time.
Yeah, because we know they got good players on the defense, so they need to get it cooking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They have the same defense from last season. So there should be no excuses why there's this much of a fall off. So if I had to guess, I'm thinking it's maybe they're still trying to adapt to the new defensive coordinator. But
Okay.
my bigger problem is this offense because, oh my, are they in trouble? Daniel Jones does not look like the same Daniel Jones from last season.
Daniel
Saquon
Jones. Here,
Barkley,
let's start here. Daniel Jones, 425 yards,
yeah,
2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. He has more
exactly.
interceptions
Yeah,
than he does
exactly.
touchdowns. Now he does have another 100 yards rushing,
Yeah.
but he has more interceptions than he does touchdowns.
Well,
The thing
what I'm
Daniel
saying is
Jones
this.
did not do last year was turn the
No,
ball over. He
no.
didn't turn the ball over last year.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Through 2 weeks, he already has 3 interceptions. Does not look like the same Daniel Jones, right? That's
Right.
a check. Saquon Barkley doesn't look the same from last
29
season.
carries,
That's a
114 yards, only 3.9 yards per carry.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Less
saying.
than 4 yards.
That's
and only
what I'm
has
saying.
1 touchdown. And now he's hurt. So
Yeah,
we don't know
and
about his
that's
ankle.
exactly where I was going with this next. Saquon Barkley doesn't look the same. Daniel Jones doesn't look the same. Darren Waller hasn't been able to do anything because Daniel Jones is sucking. Now Saquon Barkley's injured. Your best player on offense is hurt. Oh, man. What the heck? Brian Daboll needs to start doing something in New York. He has got to figure something out. Like, this does not look like the same New York team. Okay, here's my thing, Dad, okay?
I think the offensive line does not look very good at all.
No.
They need to figure that out. One bright spot I do have for this Giants team came in week 2. My boy out of Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt, he showed up, 2 receptions for 89 yards. And Darren Waller finally started getting the ball in that game. So that's good.
Oh,
If they
okay.
can keep on with that. Darren Waller had 60-something yards. So if they can keep on.
Maybe someone needs to,
more.
telephone, maybe someone needs to telephone Daniel Jones up and say, instead of forcing the ball to people like Saquon Barkley and unknown wide receivers, just start forcing the ball to your 6'7" tight end who's almost guaranteed to catch the damn ball in Darren Waller. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Or go long. Jalen Hyatt's faster than most people on the field.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
move that defense back by trusting your rookie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I totally agree. That would be
a
smart thing.
Real
he can't.
Quick, Dad.
One of the things this interceptions though is kind of skewed because they did play that Dallas defense week 1.
Well, yeah, that's true. But that's my thing, okay? That's my thing. Okay. I wanted to make the argument. So you said that they were going 7-10, right? I want to make the argument.
I was kind of being a smart ass, but I literally looked at their schedule and I counted how many good to great teams they play, and I came up with 10. Well, that means then unless they can beat one, they're not going to win more than 7 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, my thing is this. So you say they're going 7-10. My thing is I want to make the argument that they're going to lose more than 7 games. Okay. They got out stomped 40-0 on opening Sunday Night Football to the Dallas Cowboys. No surprise. Micah Parsons, defensive player of the year, fucked shit up. Got to Daniel Jones every time. If he wasn't there, he was sacking him. Like, he was feasting on this Giants offense. So no surprise there. But then you come in the next week and people are like, okay, I've seen Giants fans so mad about that 40-0 loss, Dad, that they said if they lose to the Cardinals, they are done being Giants fans. You come in and you are getting your asses handed to you at halftime by a team that is supposed to be tanking. Dad,
nobody told the Cardinals they're tanking. I'm telling you.
What was the score at halftime? It was 38-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure it was, or maybe 28 or something like that.
Yeah,
28-0 at halftime. Oh my! Do you imagine what the fuck that would have done to Brian Daboll's fucking legacy if he would have lost to the tanking Cardinals?
Nobody told this team they're tanking. They
the
almost beat the
fuck?
Commanders week 1 and then turned around and almost beat the Giants week 2. So nobody has told these
Hey,
Cardinals that they're tanking.
the fucking Washington Commanders outbeat the damn Cardinals. I think it was 35-10 at the end of the game or something like that, wasn't
No,
it?
the Cardinals Commander game was 16-20.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
damn. So it was a lot closer. Okay.
Yeah, no, the Giants game was the one you were talking about. That was 28-31.
Yeah.
So they were both
Yeah.
pretty close.
But
the Cardinals hung in there
I'm
in the
just
first
saying,
half.
man,
of both
something
games.
has got to change about this whole New York Giants team. Otherwise, they're not going to be doing shit this year. Rich may have been right about what he said in the podcast right before week 1, like when he said that they're going to fall off this year. Maybe he was right about that because New York does not look like the same team that we seen last season after 2 weeks.
Through the first couple of weeks, they definitely that's definitely the case. All right, let's keep it moving. What about the Buffalo Bills? Where do you think they're at, Brandon? They are also 1-1.
Yeah. I mean, the Buffalo Bills, I'm kind of torn on here because in week 1, you lose in a hell of a game. A hell of a game on a Monday night. 16-22 in overtime to the New York Jets. I mean, dude, what else is to be said? But Josh Allen looked horrible in that game. Like, okay, let me just read you his stats off from that game. He went 29 for 41, 236 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And Dad, may I tell you, those 3 interceptions was to the same damn guy. It was all put off by Jordan Whitehead. Like,
great game.
It was a great game, but what I'm saying is, like, what the fuck was Josh Allen doing? Like, was he not looking around the field? He had to be accounting Jordan Whitehead in here, right? The first pick, you're like, okay, you got me there. Second pick, you had to come out on the field and be like, okay, where's that Jordan Whitehead dude at? Let me go and throw it that way. Josh Allen just kept on throwing.
That's the problem. He was all over the field, so
way there. Yeah. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but Josh Allen looked terrible in week 1, and then week 2 they bounced back and they were like, all right, fuck this, we're not starting 0-2, and they just beat the shit out of the Las Vegas Raiders, and they won 38-10. And
Josh Allen threw 0 interceptions.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to get to. His
they cleaned that up pretty
for 37, 274, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So Josh Allen again had a terrible game week 1. And then week 2, Sean McDermott said, all right, yeah, we're not going to have that 3-pick shit anymore, Josh Allen. We need to get that taken care of. And Josh Allen came out and balled out against Las Vegas. So I don't know, man. I mean, the thing is did he ball out against Las Vegas, or is it that Las Vegas is kind of one of those okay teams like we were talking about that with New York, you know? Is that the case? Because I feel like when Josh Allen gets into those type of situations, like playing Miami especially, he starts to fall apart. Like when he's playing Miami or Cincinnati or Kansas City or one of those teams, he like starts to like panic, and then he starts to make them decisions that he did against the Jets and shit. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on Buffalo right now. They're 1-1, but I don't know whether to believe that they're a really good team or they're really starting to slow the tracks down. I feel like this might be the year that we see someone new win the AFC East, and Buffalo might not make it that far in the playoffs.
It's very possible. I thought it was fun for a week to hear people talk shit about Josh Allen and say Josh Allen's losing control. Josh Allen's this, Josh Allen's that. Everybody hit your damn brakes. Josh Allen is still a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Y'all are dumb. But anyway, my whole point is he's a fucking gunslinger. You know what? He's a gunslinger, dude. We've watched gunslingers. They throw a lot of picks is what they do. But what I'm worried about, Josh, is he needs to keep running because he creates plays when he does that.
Yeah.
but he doesn't need to take all the damn hits that he takes. He needs to get
Yeah.
down. He needs to get out of bounds. He needs to slide. He needs to quit getting beat up. He's
Yeah.
not, because the Buffalo Bills will be a crappy team without him. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would hate to see that happen. We already lost a great quarterback, which we'll be talking about next this year in the AFC East. And I would hate to see another one. Josh needs to slide. He needs to quit taking all those hits, and he needs to just quit making dumb decisions. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he can
Well,
obviously do it.
see, my thing is this,
So,
Dad, okay?
And he
this is
plays
one
better
thing-
defenses. He's going to struggle though. And the
Yeah.
Jets have, Jets. I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about it next. They have a top 3 defense.
Well,
So,
see, my thing is this, okay? And this is the one thing that I wanted to say to you. I have no doubt in my mind that Josh Allen is probably still a top 5 quarterback. I agree with that. But my thing is yes, he's a gunslinger. He's going to throw interceptions. I get all that. I get
Brett
that.
Favre. He's a Brett Favre kind of gunslinger.
Yes, I get that. But the thing is after what we've seen week 1, am I to believe that Josh Allen does not have awareness while throwing the ball down the field? Like, to get the ball picked off 3 times to the
He
same
was trying to
guy.
Okay. Well, 2 things. One, he was
My
trying
thing
to force
is,
it.
if
2, he was
thrown
playing
it to
a
somebody
defense
else,
that's top 3 in the league.
well, this is my thing, though, Dad. This is my thing. That's why I'm saying this, okay? If he would have thrown those 3 interceptions to 3 different guys, I would have been like, okay, yeah, Josh Allen's just having a really bad game. He threw the ball 3 different times to the same guy. Am I forced to believe that that's just?
But the same
really
guy
bad
wasn't in the same
awareness?
place. I mean, Whitehead was all over the field that game and played amazing. So
I mean, perhaps you're right, but I don't know. I mean,
I
time
think
will only
he's cleaned
tell
it up.
here.
That's his schedule. That the Bills' schedule is going to get a lot harder too. So, like
Yeah.
you said, they beat the Raiders. Let's. that's not like they didn't beat a really good team. You know what I'm saying? So let's wait and see. All right, let's keep it moving. The Jets are also 1-1 because of that win in Week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, and then lost to the Dallas Cowboys in Week 2. So where are the New York Jets? I'll tell you where the New York Jets are. I think everybody in the at least this country, possibly the world, knows where the New York Jets are. The New York Jets are in quarterback hell. It's where the New York Jets are. They're in quarterback, in quarterback hell. Watching Aaron Rodgers go down on the first play of the game.
It wasn't the first play. It was the
fourth play of the game.
Yeah.
The first possession of the game, the fourth play of the game.
Yeah.
It was really sad. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I loved Aaron Rodgers. He was nowhere near the AFC. I always liked him. I've liked Green Bay for a long time. I got family that lives up there, and I've always rooted for Aaron Rodgers. And so when he came to the same division that my favorite team is in, I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad he's older and it's not younger Aaron Rodgers. Then I'd be more scared. But and I'm also glad that the Dolphins have somebody like Tua who can play pretty good too. So let's see. And it was just sad, man. The first possession, fourth play, to watch him do that, and then.
Well, the weird thing is
that's kind of not what put them in hell, though. What put them in hell was they didn't have a backup plan. They're going with the same backup plan as they had as last year, which is Zach Wilson. And Zach Wilson is the one that's taking them to hell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how like Tua has 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and I was kind of worried about those 2 interceptions. Zach Wilson's the exact opposite. He has 2 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, so it's like he has twice.
Well, see, my thing is this, Dad. Okay, I think what the Jets had in their mind was that Rodgers, and this is where I say the Jets are not the smartest organization, because I understand what you was kind of doing, and what that kind of doing was, Dad, is I told you and Rich about it in the offseason when we did a podcast and they signed him and we broke the news and talked about it. on the podcast, what did I tell you? I said, I think they're bringing in Aaron Rodgers to let him play quarterback for a couple of years, and they're going to let Zach Wilson sit behind him and develop. Did I or did I not say that? And I think that was the plan, but
And I think
now
that's a good plan, but he can't develop when he's thrown into the fire. And Aaron Rodgers is
that's
getting older,
exactly where I was
hurt.
going with that.
So,
You had a 38-year-old quarterback who you know could possibly get injured, and you took no steps
you
in
didn't have
getting
a
a
backup
backup
quarterback.
quarterback for him.
If you want to develop Zach Wilson, then put Zach Wilson as your number 3 quarterback and put him on the, just put him as you're allowed to have 3 this year without it hurt, going against the roster. So you needed somebody in case Aaron got hurt, and you got rid of Mike White and and you don't have Flacco anymore. They had Flacco for a while. I mean, they don't have anybody. They have to do something. I think they might be trading for somebody here in a few weeks.
Think they will too.
If one of these teams don't win any games and are having a bad year, they might try to get in. They're trying to get out from under their veteran. I think they're going to bring in a veteran to replace Zach, because the bright side about this team is that they're in the top 3 defense. They have a top 3 defense. They have the best defense in the AFC. The only other 2 defenses that are as good as them are both in the NFC. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the 49ers and the Cowboys. So they're the best defense in the AFC, and they got a lot of young talent on offense also. They just need somebody that won't turn the ball over. They need somebody that won't give them 4 interceptions in 2 games.
And my interesting thing is, and this just started popping through my head, but could we see them give the Titans a call and ask what the asking price is for Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah, because, I mean that was were rumors in the offseason. So
so I mean that could be an option, but my thing is like, what happened to Aaron Rodgers is really sad, because so I was calling that game that night, right? And I was expecting it to be a really, really good game. And then on the first possession, 4 plays in, he gets tackled. It's just a normal tackle. And then he stands up and you're like, oh, okay, he's all good. He was just taking a second to stand up there. And then all of a sudden he falls back down and you're like, oh no, Aaron Rodgers is hurt, but hopefully it's nothing too serious. And then you figure out that he popped his Achilles, or tore his Achilles, and he's out for season. And you're like, damn, on a regular tackle. But I mean, again, it's a 38-year-old quarterback. So I mean, this is kind of on the Jets, right? Because you knew that this could possibly happen, bringing in a 38-year-old quarterback, and you didn't take any precautions.
And that is why they're in quarterback hell. Yeah. That's exactly where they're at right now. You want to know where they're at? That's where they're at. They're in quarterback hell. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up with your worst record in the NFL East. 0-2 Patriots. Why are your Patriots 0-2, and where are they at?
Okay, listen. First of all, don't put it like that, Dad, because we've played
the 2 teams they played were really also in the NFL East
teams.
And they were both also in the NFL East.
Really good teams, though. We played the Dolphins and we played the Eagles. Both teams are 2-0, and they're both really good freaking teams. But I wrote down, and I said I feel like my Patriots are in an okay spot. We know how this goes. We have a rough start to the schedule, like I said, we played the Eagles and the Miami Dolphins to kick off our season. Now it kind of slows down because we play the Jets this upcoming week. So hopefully we can get a win over them with Aaron Rodgers being out now. But then the week after that, it's right back in to possibly getting blown out again because we played the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, New England just has a really, really rough schedule. But, I mean, honestly, I like the play of what we've seen from Matt Jones so far. His stats look almost a lot like Tua. He's 66 for 96, I think is what this says. Maybe I wrote that down wrong. I don't think he's attempted it on 96 throws. But anyways, he has 547 yards, 4 touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. So that's something that I'm really liking to see here because Matt Jones already has 4 touchdowns to kick off the season and only 2 interceptions, as to where when he started last season, it was a really rough start, and you can be the testifier for that, Dad. He had a lot more interceptions than he did touchdowns. So I feel like this is a new vamped Matt Jones that we're seeing here. And as far as New England, week 1 was just rough because the rookie Butte couldn't drag his foot. He didn't have enough room to drag his foot there. So we came up with an unfortunate loss. But week 2, we got cheated out of that by the refs. I feel like the dude fell down right at the marker. With it being that close, whether he was a tad shy or right on the marker, with it being that close and it being the end of the game, why not just give them the first down and see what happens? I mean, we may have still lost. Who knows? We would have had a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least give the guy a shot. So, I don't know. I feel like New England just kind of in a rough type area. Like, we're not like terrible looking team wise, as in like, someone like the Giants who hasn't proven shit. We're not like them. We've proven that we can hang
2 really good teams and hung with both of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pretty awesome.
We've proven that we can hang with teams. We've just had unfortunate
you can hang with really good teams.
Yeah.
You can hang with really good teams. There's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Giants are hanging with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're hanging with the Eagles. There's a big difference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've proven that we can hang with the really, really good teams like Miami. And
I'm impressed with Mac Jones. Stuff. He's definitely playing better than he did last year.
We've just had unfortunate shit happen, fall our way. So, hopefully New England can get it back on track though this week against the Jets. So, anyways, what was you saying, Dad?
I was agreeing with you, and I was saying Mac Jones has. I agree with you about Mac. He's looking pretty good. He looks a lot better than he did last year. He looks more like he did his first year, which is awesome and great news for New England fans. But I'll tell you what the New England Patriots could not do against the Miami Dolphins, and that was stop the run. They got ran all over. They figured out how to throw how to shut down Tua's passing game, but then forgot about the running game. Which is pretty funny. And then
which is a very rare occasion, I feel like, for New England, because
New England normally has a really good defensive
throw on New England, but you cannot run on New England. And it feels like in that week 2 game against you all, we solely focused all week on stopping the pass, which we successfully did. But then it just opened doors up for Raheem Mostert, and I was like,
and what it looked like to me was they were dropping linebackers back into coverage to help instead of the ones plugging the holes. Those are the guys that would have plugged the holes on the run. So they're like, fine, you're gonna drop your linebackers, and we're running the ball. You know what I'm saying? And created big holes. So it's pretty good. I agree with you. I think the Patriots are the best 0-2 team in the league right now. Definitely. And after they have a really hard month coming out the gate. Of course, we thought Aaron, right? It was literally going to be the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, Dallas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so it's like really hard coming out the gate. The Jets, you could probably pull a win because New England seems to have the Jets number. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, it would have been a lot more competitive. So,
we could possibly get a win against Dallas. But,
both defenses are tough. The New England Patriots have to play 2 really tough defenses. I don't want to see New England go 0-4. They at least have to get 1 win. Their schedule gets a whole lot easier after this month. It gets quite a bit easier. So it lightens up quite a bit. So, all right, man. So New England, I guess where they're at, they're still in the game. So that's good. They are the best 0-2 team in the league. So that's good because they play 2 good teams and hung with both of them. So, all right, let's do I don't think there's too much to preview about tomorrow night's game. So we can do our predictions and what you think about the game. I kind of already said because I told you they're on the road to going 7-10. Of course, I'm talking about the New York Football Giants, one of my favorite teams. I told you they're on the road of 7-10, which is pretty funny. But they're going up against the 49ers, man, who possibly has the best defense in the league. The only defense that might be better than Dallas's defense. This is going to be rough, dude. And they're playing in San Francisco. This is going to be hard. This is going to be rough. I don't know what we're going to see. You can do that. You can predict a score if you want. What I do not want to see is another 40-0 game. That's what I don't want to see tomorrow night. That's what I don't want to see. So, Brandon.
Yeah, sorry about that. Ashley was calling me real quick. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Dad. I want to give the Giants a little bit of hope here, but I don't really think the Giants.
I don't know if Saquon's playing or not.
Last time I looked, it said that he was doubtful to play.
Yeah, Brian Daboll said he would not count him out though. So they have not said that he's definitely out. So.
I mean, if Saquon's going to be in there, it gives the Giants a little bit of hope. But my bigger thing is like, how much of a feasting day is Nick Bosa about to have here? Like, my God, man! Like, if the people like Dallas, like Micah Parsons, and the Arizona Cardinals are getting to Daniel Jones and shit like that, just imagine Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa is, in my opinion, just right up there with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons might be a little bit better than him, but damn, it is a tight race between those two. Yeah. And if Micah Parsons had himself a feasting day, just imagine what Nick Bosa is about to do tomorrow night. I'm expecting a
this
blowout
offensive line has not looked good against good defenses, and this is a really good defense. So,
yeah.
That's why I'm worried. That's why I'm worried. I'm just hoping the Giants can make a game of it. That's what I would like to see, is them to, hang out in there. But, this is what I've noticed leading back to last year was when they play elite teams, they fall apart. And that's the offense and defensively, they fall apart. And I've seen that, all through last year and even into the playoffs last year. So that's my prediction. So that's my prediction, is that the 49ers will win. I hope it's a tight game or a close game at least.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers also to win this game. I mean, Dad, you can be hopeful, but I'm just going to tell the truth here. I got a blowout win coming for San Francisco. Like, we might see another 40-0 burger. We might even see a 50-0 burger from San Francisco. I mean, dude, don't throw my man under the bus just yet, Dad. Purdy is looking good like he did last season again. And he's the starting quarterback for the 49ers this season.
That's very true.
I mean, dude, we already know how electric that offense is with Deebo Samuel. And I don't know if Brandon Ayuk is playing. I've heard that he's only been a limited time, participant at practice this week. But, I mean, damn, that offense is stacked. I mean, the 49ers, dude, overall is stacked. They got a great offense and defense. So, I mean, honestly.
True.
Okay, Dad, before we end this podcast, I wanted to end it on some breaking news. And I wanted to get your opinion on this. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. Guys, I want to get everybody else's opinions on it too here. But anyways, breaking news. It came an hour ago. The Rams are trading Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings. That is a very interesting thing to me. You trade away Dalvin Cook because of injuries and money-wise and all that, and you get Cam Akers, who fucking gets injured 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's all about money. That's all about money. Here's the thing. Dalvin Cook was set to make $14 million.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Akers makes $2 million.
But is Cam Akers as good as Dalvin Cook, though?
No, nowhere near as good. That's why they had to give a draft pick in for 2026 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have a backup running back and they're paying him less than $2 million because it was $2 million on the year, and
Oh,
he's already played a
wait.
couple
So you
games.
said backup running back. So you think Alexander Madison is still going to be the starter?
Yeah.
I mean, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think it might hurt him a little bit in fantasy. Maybe a little bit because they might do a little bit of a timeshare, and it'll turn the Vikings into one of those teams where you don't want a running back from the Vikings because they do timeshares. But other than that,
honestly, when Alexander Madison was there being the backup running back to Dalvin Cook, I thought Alexander Madison was already better than Dalvin Cook, in my opinion. I know you feel different about that, Dad, because you like Dalvin Cook. I love Dalvin Cook. I don't think Dalvin Cook's all this hyped up player that he's meant to be here. But my point is like, I thought Alexander Madison was already good. So you go out and get a little insurance for him. I'm really interested in seeing when we're going to see Cam Akers' first game in a Minnesota Viking uniform be. So,
it'll be pretty soon. So
that's a little bit interesting to me. So I know that's a little bit off topic because we don't cover those teams, guys, but I wanted to get everybody's opinion. And
we are on your channel also. We're live on our channel
we are, aren't we?
And your channel, so you can do what you want. Actually, go ahead and tell everybody before we close up because we're getting ready to close up. We're at our hour, but go ahead and tell everybody what games. Do you know what games you're going to be calling this week, or you're definitely calling tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, so I'm doing tomorrow night's game for sure. I'm doing the Pittsburgh Steelers and Las Vegas Raiders game on Sunday night for sure. I don't know what game I'm doing yet on Sunday.
We'll figure that out and tell everybody tomorrow night.
I'm more than likely going to be doing the Patriots-Jets game on Sunday. And then let's go see. So I posted a community tab poll for everyone to go vote. And, of course, they won. All right, so the voting is over. So the 4 games this week is going to be the New York Giants at the San Francisco 49ers, Patriots, Jets at 1, Pittsburgh Steelers, the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday night. And then the Monday night game, I let you guys choose what game you wanted. Poll ended at 8:25. And, of course, because of where I covered the Reds, the Cincinnati Bengals won. So we're going to be doing the Las Vegas Raiders, Cincinnati Bengals game on Monday night.
Cool. Sounds good.
Or Los Angeles Rams. Excuse me. I said Las Vegas Rams or something like that. I meant Los Angeles Rams. Excuse me for that.
All right. Sounds good. This was a fun show. I feel like we're all caught up. We know where everybody's at.
Yep.
Some people are in hell. Some people's, on a road to the NFC Championship game. And
Dad, real quick before we get off,
winning 7 games. So,
Dad, before we get off, I wanted to say, give a bad shout out to Nick Chubb. RIP Nick Chubb season, man. That fucking sucked. Did you see the picture of the shit that happened? Like,
I'm one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that are grateful they stopped showing those.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see it.
Well,
I hate it. I love Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb I love Nick Chubb too. He's my favorite.
He's the kind of running back. Nick Chubb is the definition of why you need to pay running backs because that's what he does. Yeah. He's a badass runner. He's a badass blocker. He doesn't talk shit. He just shows you shit. You know what I'm saying? And I love it.
See, the thing is, okay. So I was calling the Carolina Panthers Saints game that night, right? And all of a sudden, my friend Dylan texted me, and he was like, "Oh shit, RIP to Nick Chubb." And I was like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck? Nick Chubb got injured?" I was like, "What the fuck happened?" And then he sent me it, and oh my god, it was nasty. Like, he was getting tackled by one person already, right? And then Minka Fitzpatrick went down to cut him out from underneath his leg. And his leg is like from his knee down, hyperextended backwards. And it like almost popped out of place. And
if I just told you I didn't want to see it, what makes you think I want to sit here?
I'm just saying, he probably tore like his MCL and ACL and all that shit inside the kneecap.
It's bad. So that's all I know.
it's going to be a while before he's back. He's definitely out for this season. That's already been determined.
If he even is able to come back. So.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Dad.
He's because it's also his second time he's injured that knee. He did.
Oh, yeah. Is it the same one?
Yeah, he did it in college.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was getting to because we already know that he's out for season. That's already been told by head coach Kevin Stefanski. But my thing is like how long, like with it being that bad of an injury, how long is this going to take to heal? Will we even see Nick Chubb by the start of that season? I don't think so.
I mean, there's a chance he never plays football again. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's kind of
which really fucking sucks because you know how much I love Nick Chubb, Dad. He's my favorite running back in the damn league. So, you know, I mean, honestly, it fucking sucks. So I just wanted to say that to Nick Chubb real quick. You know, fucking sucks. You hate to see injuries, but especially the good players like Nick Chubb that does nothing. It doesn't touch it, just runs the football down people's throats.
And blocks, and he's a badass blocker too. So, all right, cool. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna play yours and ours video for exiting. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll go do that. And we should be back on here on Saturday to preview all these Sunday games coming up with Rich. Rich should be with us on Saturday. So that'll be pretty cool. We'll do a preview for the Sunday slate. And that sounds good. Any last words, Brandon, before we get out of here?
Nope. See you guys on Saturday.
All right. Come on, G-Men. More than 7 games, damn it.
Yeah.
Please. About 10 wins in a playoff spot. 10 wins in a playoff spot. Come on, G-Men. Let's do this. Fins up, everybody.